In a tense moment that captured global attention, the U.S. President Donald J. Trump issued a strong warning on his Truth Social platform May 6, 2026. He stated that if Iran agrees to the terms already discussed, what he described as an already legendary epic fury would come to an end. But if Iran refuses, he warned, the bombing would resume at an even greater level of intensity than before. This statement has once again placed a global spotlight on one of the most strategically important waterways on Earth, the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow sea passage located between Iran and Oman. It serves as the only maritime link connecting the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman and ultimately the vast Arabian Sea. Despite its relatively narrow width, its importance to the global economy cannot be overstated. Every single day, this critical choke point handles a massive volume of international shipping. More than 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas passes through the strait. On average, between 80 and 130 vessels navigate these waters daily, totaling over 30,000 ships each year. Many of these are enormous oil tankers, each carrying millions of barrels of crude oil that fuel industries, transportation systems, and economies across the globe. The Strait of Hormuz is especially vital for energy exports from major oil-producing nations such as Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. Because of this, even a small disruption in this narrow corridor can have immediate and far-reaching consequences, triggering spikes in global oil prices and creating instability in international markets. But who actually controls the Strait of Hormuz? The answer is complex. The shipping lanes are located mostly within the territorial waters of Oman, with portions extending into Iranian waters. However, the strait itself is governed by international maritime law, particularly the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which guarantees the right of transit passage for ships of all nations. Despite these legal protections, geography gives Iran a significant strategic advantage. Its coastline runs along the northern edge of the strait, and its naval forces maintain a strong presence in the region. This allows Iran to monitor, influence, and potentially disrupt maritime traffic, especially during periods of heightened conflict. Historically, the Strait of Hormuz has never been completely closed. However, it has experienced serious disruptions. One of the most notable examples occurred during the Iran-Iraq War, specifically during the so-called Tanker War, when both sides targeted oil tankers in an attempt to weaken each other's economies. In response, international forces, including the United States and several European nations, intervened to ensure the safe passage of commercial vessels. Even today, experts believe that completely shutting down the strait for an extended period would be extremely difficult. Its width, depth, and the constant presence of international naval forces make a total blockade unlikely. However, even partial disruptions or threats can be enough to create global uncertainty. The importance of the Strait of Hormuz places it alongside other major global choke points, such as the Strait of Malacca, in shaping the flow of global trade and energy supply. As tensions continue to rise and political rhetoric intensifies, the Strait of Hormuz remains at the center of a delicate balance between diplomacy and conflict. It is a place where geography meets geopolitics, where a narrow stretch of water holds the power to influence the entire world. In a world increasingly dependent on energy and global trade, what happens in the Strait of Hormuz does not stay there. It echoes across continents, economies, and everyday lives.